you eaten sadza yet?
So hey, welcome to Sadza Space Station.
Hey.
So you guys, it's been like this summer we were hanging out in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Yep.
And literally like a few months ago. It was a cute moment.
Yeah. That was like a life-changing moment, really.
Yeah, it felt like we were there longer than what we were there for. We did.
What is maybe start a little bit about who you are. Like you're both artists. Maybe you could talk about your art practice.
Okay, you first.
Okay. Okay, Isis. Yeah, I'm Isis. And I'm a native Detroiter. Grew up on the Northwest Side. Then I moved to Taylor, Michigan. But I've been going to school downtown, midtown area since I was in middle school. And now I'm going to CCS. And I'm studying interdisciplinary art and design. I'm primarily a painter and illustrator, but I'm working with fibers and textiles now and like doing other things, event things, like just immersing myself into the underground art scene of Detroit right now. So yeah.
Same. Yeah, we're creatives. But no, I'm Sudani, and I primarily identify, I'm going to say I'm an interdisciplinary artist because I do a lot of different things. Right now I'm starting to get more into my fashion bag. My basis is fibers and textiles though. I work a lot with screen printing, embellishment, sewing, different sewing techniques, different printing techniques too, and dyeing techniques. But yeah, I'm starting to get into like more wearable arts and sculptural pieces as well. And pieces like just for like a space, like something that can go on your wall, sculptural moment, I don't know, stuff like that. But also, dang, I forgot. I also do like my cymatics work, which would be like digital art too. And diving into like natural sciences and biomimicry. I do a lot. It's hard to like remember everything and put it all. Yeah, I'm doing a lot. Interdisciplinary.
Yeah.
But being an artist is being a scientist.
Yeah.
Because
So
you're
true.
experimenting with materials and mediums and processes and stuff. So, yeah.
What you experimented this summer? Maybe talk a little bit what you guys were doing.
Yeah, so we did hair workshops and weaving. Well, I did weaving. You did batik.
Batik, dye painting. Yeah, I love that. It was so fun.
So for the weaving workshop, we were actually using the baobab tree fibers and using it to. We started making like placemat coasters.
Maybe step back. Maybe tell what a baobab tree. Something I don't know what a baobab tree is.
Dang, I forget the details of the tree, but I remember we were eating what was it,
The
like
powder, the baobab powder.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be really, really good for you. It's like a superfood.
Yeah.
And we have a restaurant in Detroit called Baobab.
Yeah.
And it's so good.
It's the biggest tree in the continent. Like
They're like ancient trees.
And she was telling us before we started, like we were, she was telling us the process of making the strings or like it was like
the
yarn.
fibers.
Fiber yarn. But
The
you have
fiber,
to
the tree
prepare
bark.
the bark in a certain way. She was teaching us about that process as if we were going to do it ourselves. So I have those notes somewhere. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
But then she had the fibers prepared for us, and then she taught us how to do like simple placemats and stuff. But you can extend that into baskets or like other things too. So yeah, it was definitely a really, really cool
went to
experience.
that workshop had I not been sick, because I really wanted to go to that workshop, but I got a little tummy ache while we was out there. But that's okay. But we did do the braiding workshop too.
The braiding was fun too. Yeah.
Definitely. So that's another thing that we do too, like outside of our, craft and fine art stuff.
I feel like we're really into body adornment, like just doing cool stuff with how we express ourselves through like hair and fashion and jewelry and piercings and
we're
everything.
like working on our little hair collective and studying hair.
Yeah.
And what you can do with hair.
how's the batik?
Oh, batik was fun.
Like what was the batik? Like what was the materials you were using?
So we were using Sadza, which is completely different from what I learned at CCS and how to do batik. Because what we learned at school was to like use wax and like dye and cracking it and putting it in the freezer. Just all this stuff that we have access to here. When we were out there, we used Sadza, which isn't it flour and water? And you mix it and you can eat it, but you can also use it to make artwork, which is insane. But the process is like, it's actually way easier than what we were doing at CCS. You know, you heat the size up, you paint it onto, or you squeeze it onto the fabric, you let it harden, then you paint your designs on with paint instead of like dye. And then you sit that in the oven and you wash the sides off and then you let it dry again. It's super easy. And it was like very beautiful, clean, no messy lines or anything. I'm definitely gonna have to try that up here. Yeah.
How do you feel like as an artist making there? Did you talk about your studio at CCS, working in the studio there, and now you're in Zimbabwe? As an artist practicing, how was that experience?
It was fun. I wish I could have, like my mom and how she had more time and space. Like she was there for a residency. We weren't there for a residency, so it was a little different.
Like a research, yeah.
Yeah. It was just like, we're touching down, we're experiencing a little. But I definitely feel like I could do more, say I go for a residency. I feel like when we were out there, we were mostly like getting to know the land and the people more so. The workshops were kind of short for the most part, but we did do stuff like,
Yeah, I feel like it was more like we were getting a feel of the culture and like their everyday life. Like I would say for the hair braiding workshop, she taught us different braiding techniques, but we also got to like see firsthand like a family,
Yeah,
like,
we were in their space.
They
we met her kids, we met her husband.
I like the
stuff.
Spaces.
She was taking us around, like we went, that market that we were going to get food, but she took us on a different side.
Oh,
and,
she
like,
gave
was
us
showing
honestly,
us around.
What you're saying, I getting out every space that we did do our workshops in and we worked in. Everybody was like, we felt like we were with family. They welcomed us in like this. You with your auntie or something. They fed us. They were really nice to us, asking us about our experience, and then like telling us more about Zimbabwe, asking us about Detroit and America. We had a lot of great conversations with people out there. Yeah.
Is it any of you have like highlights? Like was it like a certain conversation or space that?
Well, definitely that conversation where we did the first session of the white card thing. We talked to this man and we had to like explain to him what being black means like to Americans, because they were just thinking like skin color, like literally, and we had to explain like the whole like social construct and like what that means and social groups and how race is even classified in America. So like it was definitely interesting talking about race, to another black person, but we're just from two different places, so it's different.
Diaspora wars. It was
so many people. Every time they heard that we were from Detroit, they asked, "Is it like how it is in the movies?" And I'm like, I mean, it's like
yes, but no. It depends on the movie you're watching, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it also depends on like if you're not bothering anybody, if you don't know anyone. Like,
but it's also like us asking the same thing. Like, is Africa like what we see in the media?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, how's your like in that context? How was this something that changed your perspective when you went there?
I didn't. What I kept telling a lot of the natives of Zimbabwe is like, it's very similar to being Detroit. The only difference is y'all are like looking at us like we're oddballs. Like, what are you? Y'all are different. Who are y'all? But if you were to come to Detroit, they're gonna look at you like you're a regular black person.
Yeah, I would say certain ways of life, like especially coming from the Pan-African community, like certain things that they did in their households was like similar to what I grew up doing too. Yeah. So certain expectations growing up, your mom expects you to have certain things clean. Like people asked, we was having certain conversations about how their life was growing up, and I found that there was lots of similarities, like the way kids are raised in both different areas or whatever. But yeah, I feel like it's just interesting. I feel like one thing that I did remember that I was shocked to feel, I thought I was gonna feel some type of like nervousness or like anxiety like once we finally got there. Yeah. But when I got there, I just felt like I'm just here. Like
it was very peaceful.
Yeah, very peaceful. Very like I was very just at ease. And I was just going to like, okay, we're going here, we're going there.
I definitely agree. I feel like for me, I did hit a point getting toward the end of the trip where like I was feeling uncomfortable, and I think I just needed more time there. I needed some more time there because I was having like an ego moment where my ego was tripping out. I'm just like, I'm ready to go home. But at the same time, like, it's so beautiful here, and I kind of need this time away from the city in America. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to explain that more in depth, but
yeah, it felt like time moved slower.
Yeah,
when we was there, like.
Mm-hmm.
Not very.
Everybody was at ease. Yeah. Like, it was very chill.
Also, like, it's so interesting how you see so many people up early in the morning every single day, mm-hmm. like just out walking. Like, you don't see that here. No. Not downtown. Like, not in Midtown. The streets is empty. When like, you know, maybe cars, mm-hmm. or on but even weekend, how their cars, like busy. How their roads, you know, people just walking right through traffic, and that's just crazy to me because everything's so regulated here. So I feel like that was also what felt freeing too, mm-hmm. to be away. Like, it's not as much structure, and I don't know, it's just different.
Yeah, it felt more relaxed. Yeah, and like everybody was just doing everything with like grace and ease, and everything was chill, but it was getting done. Mm-hmm. Like, it's still, I don't know, a flow to it. Mm-hmm. And here it's like the energy is super chaotic. I guess this is kind of like getting into me talking about like my ego moment I was having. Like, I'm just so used to the chaos and the anxiety here. And like being out there, it was way different. And I was just like, damn, I like it. But at the same time, this is so new to me, so I don't know how to feel.
Yeah, I feel
but I need more of it. Like, I feel like medicine kind of.
It was a couple times I had got emotional because I was like, wow, like it felt like a full circle moment for me to like mm-hmm. finally be there. And I've been learning so much ever since I was a kid about the culture, about just way of life or whatever, and to actually be there, that right in front of me, and like meeting people and trying the foods, and like I'm the first person in my immediate family to travel outside the country. So
yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. So it was just like so many moments. I was just kind of just there.
Yeah. Like, even like the plane rides there. What was that, like, how many hours?
13.
16 hours back. Yeah, those plane rides were really long. That was my first time spending that much time on a plane.
That was my second time on a plane ever.
That was insane, but I also enjoyed it because I feel like we got to bond before we got there more. And like even with some of the other people that we were on the trip with, we all really did. We were like a little family. We were bonding, being in the house together. What was that? It was something else I was gonna say. Oh, when we visited the healing center, Zamaita, Zimaneta. Yeah, that was also a really interesting experience. Just connecting with those folks and that land out there. It was really beautiful out there, and just how they have it set up, and they're working with the nature around them. I like that.
Yeah, it was definitely a breath of fresh air, considering that we're always in the city, you know, all the time here, and we was definitely like way out into the rural areas in certain parts of that trip.
Mm-hmm. But, or you're a mentor.
Yeah.
Seeing his studio, that was so beautiful. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, the one piece that he made.
I was just looking at that video.
I don't know if that's like an animatronic type
He was like
situation.
Saying it's just, if they was to automate it, you know, it's the same thing except you just gotta crank it.
Yeah. But seeing like what people were capable of doing, like even when we went to see the sculptures that the other people that were his residents or helpers, like everybody made some sculpture that was sitting out there, and I was like, wow, y'all made this is crazy. That's like when we're here and people see us and what we do, and they're like, you really did this is amazing. I was feeling like that awe when I saw everybody's work.
I think one of the highlights that I really liked was when we went to see the cave paintings and we climbed that mountain. That was like a really, really cool experience. I've never done nothing like that before, so seriously, that was definitely
cool. Describe what that was.
We went up there. Yeah. We went up there. That was a mountain.
Yeah, that was a mountain. Right?
That was a mountain. We went up a mountain. It was a small mountain. It wasn't like super crazy big mountain. You need the bungee cords and stuff. No. But we went mountain climbing. We went into the cave, and we seen years of like cave paintings, but also like, you know, new age people doing graffiti in there. It's just crazy to see The contrast of like those two together.
Yeah, it was cool how we got to like go inside the rock and like through all the way around and up to
Greater Zimbabwe too. Greater Zimbabwe, like standing where people stood like thousands of years ago. That's insane to me. Like, this is the Queen's Castle, and it's torn down. Like, she stood right here. She walked these hallways. That's crazy. Yeah. And
just the wildlife, like seeing the monkeys and the different... that was cool too because
monkeys stealing our butter off.
Oh yeah, at Victoria Falls.
Yeah, they definitely, the monkeys did not play. They will run up on you and steal your food.
Yeah, seeing the lizards and different things. Because, you know, we're just used to, like, squirrels and birds.
Oh, them spiders were huge.
Yeah.
I could not, like, and still...
Mosquitoes are crazy.
Yeah, remembering that we were there in the wintertime and it wasn't even summer and how hot it was during the day. Now, it did get cold at night, but, like, during the daytime, it was hot. And they walking around with coats on. And I'm like,
that was funny.
Like,
and they was looking at us like, why y'all don't got no clothes on?
We were walking around in shorts and dresses, and they're like, it's cold. Like, no, y'all don't know cold.
So I think also, I remember you had an exhibit. You showed the National Gallery.
Yes,
that's huge.
That was
and some people even traded their pieces. I definitely would want to do that again for sure. And connecting with the other like students out there, we definitely built relationships with them, and that was really beautiful to do.
You feel like you build relationships?
Yeah. Some people I'm still talking to like that we met through WhatsApp or whatever. Amazing. So I've been learning more about Zimbabwe through what they've been telling me, like what's going on, like the politics and all that stuff. Yeah. So it's been cool.
Stuff has been going on.
Do you feel like your work has, like from that experience, do you think you've been as an artist?
I feel like, I'm so prepared for this school year. I'm so excited.
It's making me so like even with my senior thesis, I didn't completely do all the pieces that I want to do, but I planned on this upcoming semester still finishing those pieces. But now I'm thinking about like the narrative and what my work is about, and just reflecting on how that's changed in my thought process, just my views and what I'm thinking about when I make stuff now. It's definitely changed.
Something that inspired me when we went to that village, making artwork out of more like recycling things, you know, like sustainable artwork, definitely. Because one of the people I'm still talking to, I think her name's Blessing, but she's showing me her process of making beads and stuff.
I love you, Blessing.
I
love Blessing. She was so cool.
Yeah. So I'm definitely, I've been saving like different things that I want to make. Like I've been saving glass bottles and like cardboard and different things that I'm just probably gonna, especially being in back to the teacher assistant thing I was telling you about. Now I'm like meshing all the things together. And when I was doing, I was, the costume design class was like kind of free for all. Like the kids just kind of saw the materials and were like, well, I can use this to make that and this to make, and they were recycling. They were making really cool stuff. This one kid made a whole SpongeBob costume out of cardboard and construction paper.
It was insane.
He made Gary and like they walked. He got inside of the SpongeBob costume. Wow. So it's really making me think about like my materials are my everyday things, you know, not just stuff that I go buy at the craft store. So
it's kind of beautiful that now that when you, as a teacher, you can show artists you've met in Zimbabwe, so they get to know about the artists in Zimbabwe and what they're doing.
Yeah.
Same. Go ahead. You was about to say something.
Oh no, I was just listening to you right now. I'm on a journey with you right now as I'm listening to you. Would you go back?
I was telling you I didn't want to leave.
No, like I want to go back. I really want to, like I said, I want to spend more time and like create. I want to really settle down and be able to like create some stuff. Like even how my mom went, she was teaching, but also making a body of work herself. I want to do something like that for sure out there. I think
like a more extended time.
Extended time. Get to go out a little more. We definitely went out every day. We went out every day and touched something every day. But definitely exploring more. That was fun. And also like I just learned a lot about myself and like my environment and people around me. And I needed that. It helped me grow some more. I definitely feel like I came back a different person.
Yeah. I feel like I don't know, for me, the trip was very, like, validating for me. Like, validating of all of my life experiences thus far and, like, why I've been doing the things I'm doing, why I'm still an artist. Like, because there's been points in my life where, you know, I didn't even know if I wanted to make art anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, especially during COVID, you know, which is just a crazy time for everybody. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it made me feel like, yes, this is what you've been working so hard to do. Like, I literally found... I keep things. I keep everything. Like, I literally keep everything. I have notes and, like, lists that I've made since I was a kid. And I found one recently. And one of it was, like, travel internationally. Become an international known artist.
Yeah,
and, like,
and
now
you did it.
I'm
been
doing
wanting
it.
to travel.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. That was my first time going that far out the country. And I never thought it would be like Zimbabwe. Now, actually, yes, manifesting, because I did the same thing. Chido, I came to you even in high school and I was like, I want to go to Africa. I want to do study abroad because I want to travel, but I don't want to go to Europe. I don't want to go to Asia. Not that it's anything wrong with those places, but I feel like I need to go to Africa. So we're going to have to make that happen. And we literally made it happen.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know, I came to you just, I still want to do the independent study because now I have more research and things to put into the ideas. So that's the concept that I'm going with as far as my work with all my classes this semester and like moving forward until I graduate. But yeah, trip was definitely, the time was had.
Yeah. Time was had. It made me reflect a lot on like my privileges and like just like how I've grown up in Detroit and just like just talking to them about like how similar it is and then also how blessed we are, but also like just they're blessed out there, like they live a completely different life. And I know a lot of people look at America as some big dream, but it's like it's messy up here. It is so messy. And it's like y'all have this beautiful land and you just have peace out here. I mean, well,
Somewhat.
I
mean, there's always something going on somewhere. But I feel like, you know, a lot of the things in our daily life is so controlled. You know, like the fact that they can get up and just like, I mean, you doing whatever you want to do, like to an extent. But like everybody has to get up and survive. But it's like they have way more control, like how they make their money, what they spend their money on, like. You know, explaining, like, they was asking us about credit, like, y'all got a credit score, and I'm like, not too much.
It's so stressful up here,
but what we gotta do, and it's just crazy how they don't have that structure set up in order for them to become, you know, self-sufficient. Like,
but also, this is another thing. This was something that I really loved that I was comparing, like, growing up in Detroit and, like, going to DPS and, like, your family being here their whole lives for generations, we grew up learning how to hustle for real in Detroit. That's what it's all about, is grinding. You wake up, you hustle, you got to get some money some type of way. They are the same way out there. And I'm like, that is Detroit. Amazing. Yeah, it's a tropical Detroit. Literally. Everybody is hustling all the time. But they do it so, like, gracefully.
Yeah.
So easy.
Detroit is mean.
Yeah.
we don't know who you are. It's like...
People be a little stank up here sometimes.
But it's a beautiful community here, which is nice. Community exists in community.
We just clicky.
Yeah. I feel like, again, it just depends on what community you're around and you're a part of in the city here. Like, people definitely are clicky, though, no matter what. But,
Yeah, I feel like also we meaner because it's colder. And then nobody feel like so you're just trying to get where you need to be. Yeah, literally. No interactions, no talking on the street. You're just trying to get inside. So
that was another thing too. Like even talking to them about like violence out there.
Yes, that's another highlight because you know they were finding people like you know every time you get pulled over or whatever, they try and like come up with some reason to find you and. You know, we get nervous when we are around police just because of the culture here. And, you know, I'm not knowing that they don't carry weapons in Zimbabwe until they told us. I was like, oh.
I noticed, like, I'm like, I haven't heard nothing about, like, gun violence or anything. Like, of course there's crime, but, like, here, that is a.
No, they said that they aren't allowed to have weapons for, like, not even, like, you know, the little knuckle things. Like, let alone a gun. Like, if you have a gun, you in jail.
You go under the jail.
Yeah.
That's just, the culture is way different. You know, we got to explain to them like the school to prison pipeline and like mass incarceration and just school shootings, like crazy stuff happening. And we're kids, like crazy stuff happen. We've been dealing with this stuff since middle school.
Wow.
Elementary school.
Really? But I feel like we all was like really looking at the world like, what?
Yeah.
In middle school, like, oh, okay.
That's when you really
that was
start
when Trump got
stuff.
elected.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
That was
start
crazy.
really paying attention, like, what's going on around me? And elementary school was crazy stuff going on, but you still like in a daydreamy state, I feel like. Yeah. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, even fun. Like with the wire card thing, you know, how y'all grew up making your toys. You know, like nobody was doing that. I mean, we were artists, so I guess it's different. You know, we created in that way, but I wasn't constructing my own toy car.
Yeah, that was insane.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you brought that here. Like,
yeah.
Chido.
Yeah, we need to do that. We need to do that in class.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be really cool.
Like workshops up here for kids to do that more. Because
even if we just walk them around Peck Park, like that would be cool too.
That would be ideas. We
for
can't say no more. People don't need to know this is ours. So it's for the kids.
What advice would you give somebody who's interested in going to, or any words you'd like to share? People might be thinking about who, like you, have never gone, and we're thinking about.
Don't let your fear psych you out of doing what you want to do.
Be open-minded. And
if you feel like there's somebody that might doubt you, don't tell them until it's like too late.
Oh,
like,
you just brought up something important.
Because I didn't tell anybody that I was going to do it until I put my deposit down.
But even talking to people about it, like at CCS, like a lot of people had doubts about the trip and were like, like, I don't know if that's a good idea. And it's just like,
but you go anywhere else.
Yeah.
With somebody that you don't know that's not from there. But you're actually from there. Like, so I had more than enough trust, and we've already had you as a teacher. So,
exactly.
You know, it was just a whole, like, I just felt like, no, this is my opportunity to finally go. Yeah. So I just went ahead and took the opportunity while I had it.
It's a great opportunity to expand your knowledge and experiences, and just to go out and see the world, learn about yourself, learn about people, and I think everybody should always take the opportunity when it's open to them.
Literally, if it's a will, it's a way. Because I didn't know how I was going to have all the money, but I made all that money.
Man, we
was hustling.
We were hustling. Literally. We put on events. We were selling artwork together. We had our little table with our sign, 1118
to all my
Tsunami
family
Waves.
That gave me money too.
Same.
Because they looked out too. And they was all trying to go with the vision that we had for ourselves. Right. So,
literally, people in the community, family and friends, everybody was, most people were supportive. Close friends and family were supportive. Yeah. And I really do appreciate that. Because this is something I've been wanting to do and experience for a very long time.
Well, this is going to have to happen again.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, very soon. Very soon.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for spending this time with us and talking about your experience. I know we're going to have more conversations as we go forward.
Thank you, Chido, for taking us to Zimbabwe.
Great guide. Great tour guide.
Yeah. We woke up every day at around 8 a.m. It was not, maybe one day we got up at 10, but 8 a.m. into the far deep into the evening, we was doing stuff.
We went to different cities, villages. We got hosted. We did a whole bunch of stuff.
And you eat real good every day. Real good.
I think the only touristy things that we did was, Great Zimbabwe and Victoria Falls, but everything else was we're meeting actual
We're in the neighborhoods,
meeting
people's
artists.
Homes.
Yeah, that was what was I think the most best part about this whole trip. Really culture. Being immersed in I felt like I was living there for a minute, Right. So
I told you, feel like we was at our auntie house. I definitely felt like I was sitting with my aunt when I was doing boutique.
Braiding hair.
Yeah,
definitely for me. So.
Oh, that we were at the grandma who took us into her hut.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yes.
She was funny. Okay. She said, "Everybody sit down." Okay, auntie. Okay.
But thank you so much.
Thank you for guys. Allowing us to have the experience.
Sadza Space Station! Sadza yet,